Hey guys, I'm the Spookiest Ghost, and welcome to another episode of Tumblr Toxicity. So today's Tumblr Toxicity will be a little different. Today I'll be talking about Otherkin. Sort of. I'll look at some pretty cringy Otherkin posts, but mostly we'll actually be focusing on one, I guess we'll call it a subkin, if you will. A lot of people have requested Otherkin, and while I do personally think it's a bit strange, I'm not the type of person who likes to make fun of people for no reason, unless it's something really cringy. I've made videos on channels like Troom and 7-Second Riddles, but while those videos were meant to laugh at their awful content, it was also made because both of these channels are blatant money farms that upload tons of shitty videos a day to make a quick buck. After all, if Troom wasn't just trying to make money, maybe they wouldn't have falsely copyright claimed my Christmas special and left me with no choice but to let them take my money, because YouTube's copyright system is fucked and I don't want to send them all of my personal information such as my full name and address. Okay, relax, spooks. It's fine. Anyway, point is that most of the posts I found from people saying they were Otherkin were people saying that they were Otherkin not because they believe that they're actually that animal, but rather because they feel an emotional connection to the animal or they feel that they were the animal in a past life. While there are Otherkins that do genuinely believe that they're a fox or a dog or whatever they think they are, rather than a human, it seems like that's not most people. So even though it may be kinda cringy and weird, they're not hurting anyone, so I would just feel bad making fun of them. Call me a pussy, but I don't think it's fun hurting people's feelings just because. But there is one type of Otherkin that not only is cringy, but is also toxic and dangerous, and that subtype is Factkin. So for those of you that don't know what that is, let me explain. Factkin is a subkin where people believe that they are celebrities. And no, I don't mean that they think that they themselves are a celebrity. No. They think that they are already existing celebrities. For example, there's quite a large group of people in this community that apparently genuinely believe that they are PewDiePie or Markiplier. They're not fans of them, they are them in their heads. Need I even explain why that's weird? But anyway, let's just look at some of these posts and I'll get into why it's toxic later. On to the cringe. So we'll just start this video by looking at some really cringy Otherkin/fictionkin posts first. I don't want to jump straight into the identity theft. I want to ease you into it with just some plain weird shit. Hi guys, 2D broke my window, slapped me out of my disassociation, and told me he's bisexual. Sorry, I don't make the rules. Now, this one is just... what? I love gorillas. I have quite a few pieces of their merch, and at one point I even had their Converse, which were dope, but then they broke. RIP Converse. Let's have a moment in silence for them because they were really cool. I also like bunnies and am from New York City, and specifically the borough that's pretty close to Long Island, so I guess I'm basically shoe on head now, except I'm not funny, I'm not cute, and I'm not likable in any way, shape, or form. But that's besides the point. Anyway, my main question is just, how the fuck did you come up with this? Like, seriously, how? How did you think of this scenario? Also, what do you mean you don't make the rules? The rules of what? I have so many questions about this post and no answers. Wings, flying, stretching them in the morning, chairs and cars being a pain in the ass, tight spaces and crowded areas, wrapping them around you when you're cold, feeling majestic. Hashtag angel incarnate. Hashtag angel incarnate with no space. So I guess these are the pros and cons of having wings, which is cool and all, except you don't have wings. I literally 100% guarantee you that you do not have real wings growing out of your back that would cause you to have issues like cars and chairs being a pain in the ass. And they refer to themselves as angel incarnate. Yeah. Sure you are. I'm sure you're just the most angelic being on planet Earth. If you spend most of your time on Tumblr, I have bad news for you. You're probably going to end up in hell, just like the rest of us. I guess that could technically make you a fallen angel though, but either way, you're not a fucking angel, okay? Moving on. You being squirrelkin doesn't mean your children will be, and it's not right to force it. For all anyone knows, your children could be wolfkin. Would you stop them from delving into their innermost selves and having happy lives to feed your squirrel obsession? Do you have any idea about how biology works? I am genetically meant to be a squirrelkin. I will breed with another squirrelkin. Genetically speaking, my child will have the DNA of a squirrelkin, and if they don't, I'll nurture them into being one. Squirrelkin are better than any other kins. Is that, like, discrimination against other kins? Or, like, kin supremacy? I pray to God that this is satire, but I'm not sure it is. I found this person's Tumblr, and it doesn't seem like a troll, but they could be. It's kind of crazy. Well, no, it's really crazy. Like, they got a question asking if they were attracted to squirrels, and they said obviously yes. Anyway, my question is, do you know how biology works? Because if you did, you'd know that there's no possible way you, as a human, could be genetically a squirrel. Not physically, not mentally, not in any way, shape, or form. Also, what if, hear me out, your kids end up not being delusional and know that, unlike their parents, they're humans and not squirrels? What then? Will you disown them? Honestly, probably. Although it's possible they will be squirrelkin since they'll have quote-unquote squirrelkin DNA, which is basically another way of saying a family history of mental illness, or at least for this person. This person's entire Tumblr account is honestly pure gold, and I could probably make a whole video on this person's account alone, but I'm not gonna do that. Now, here's where we get into the Factkin portion of the video, so buckle up, folks. Cause you're in for a wild ride. Factkin and why it's not bad. A PSA. Oh boy. Let's just go over these reasons one by one, shall we? That's the only way to dissect the sheer stupidity of this post. 1. I identify as the real people, but from a diff timeline. I'm not stealing their identities, but I'm just as valid as the originals. If you identify as the person from a different timeline and are supposedly just as valid as the original, how are both of you living in the same timeline? I mean, if you're Pete Wentz, but in a different timeline, how is it that you're alive, living in the same timeline that he is alive in, living his life as the basis of Fall Out Boy? If you want to pretend to be someone you're not, I guess go for it. I wouldn't suggest it, but I'm also not gonna stop you. But don't try to make people accept your game of pretend as reality. You just wanna hate it because SJWs, am I right? What the fuck does hate mean? And what the fuck does any of this have to do with SJWs? This isn't a political issue. This is just really weird. I'm a mentally ill kid. Chill. Fuck you for even using this as an excuse. As someone who's also a mentally ill kid, being mentally ill does not give you an excuse to do whatever the fuck you want, whenever the fuck you want, nor does it make everyone around you obligated to play into your delusions. This especially makes me mad because you are the type of person that makes everyone with mental illnesses look bad. If you're having these delusions, why don't you actually go get the medical help you need instead of sitting on Tumblr and trying to justify your delusions? How do you plan on living a normal life as a functioning human being if you see yourself as being for people that you have absolutely no relation to other than being a fan of them? Are you going to go to a job interview and introduce yourself as Dan Howell even though you're probably a teenage girl? If you said no, why not? I thought you were the real Dan Howell. And if you said yes, then congrats. You'll never be able to get a job. Why? Because I guarantee that the name on your ID, social security number, birth certificate, passport, etc. is not any of the ones you mentioned, nor is the picture on your identification that of anyone that you mentioned. And if it is, that's identity theft. So have fun in prison. You're jealous because you're not my kin types. No, I promise you, I swear to you, that I am not jealous. I hate the "you're just mad because you're jealous" argument. It's such a blatant deflection of criticism. No, I'm not criticizing you because I'm jealous. I'm criticizing you because you're delusional and are condoning living your life as someone completely other than yourself and not getting help for your disorder, because this has to be some kind of disorder or just a way to get attention. Trust me, I'm not jealous of you and your ridiculous delusions that could land you a restraining order from all 4 of the people you claim to be, or maybe even in jail. I literally have their memories. Is that not enough? You literally have their memories. Can you provide any evidence for this claim? Because it's a pretty big claim to make. You're telling me that you remember the details of Brendan Urie's wedding? Okay, if you have his memories, what were his wedding vows? Or better yet, describe to me how you knew your wife was the one. What attracted you to her? What was your first kiss like? I mean, if you have his memories, then you should be able to tell me about his relationship with his wife, who's obviously very important in his life, right? Or if you're Pete Wentz, what was it like when your sons were born? How did you feel holding your son in your arms for the first time? How did you feel knowing that you were going to become a father? You probably can't give me a legitimate answer to any of these questions. Why? Because you're not actually them and you don't have their memories. And I highly doubt that you, probably being a teenage girl, as I mentioned before, would have any idea what it must be like to be a first-time father expecting a child from their wife, or having to propose to your girlfriend, or any of those kinds of situations. Why is Factkin so looked down upon? Just admit you hate ND people already? Factkin is looked down upon because you're stealing somebody's identity. You can tell yourself all you want that it's not that, but in the end, it is. You are actively trying to convince people that you are multiple celebrities. I don't care if it's a different timeline. It's identity theft. Not in a legal sense, but in a moral sense. Maybe even in a legal sense, I'm not sure. Also, stop with the, just admit you hate me already. Just because someone thinks that it's bad to encourage people to give into their delusions rather than seeking help so they can live a happier, healthier, safer life, doesn't mean they hate neurodivergent people. They just hate people that condone dangerous behavior. Neurodivergent or neurotypical doesn't matter. At the end of the day, who's the one telling people on Tumblr that it's totally fine to just pretend to be a random celebrity you like and try to convince everyone you're actually them? Signed, the real Pete Wentz, Brendan Urie, Dan Howell, and PewDiePie. I can almost guarantee you that if Pete Wentz, Brendan Urie, Dan Howell, or PewDiePie saw this and or met you in real life, they would get a restraining order against you because you're clearly fucking insane. Anyway, I'm done with this post. I've already put too much energy into it. Moving on. Before we go back to the really annoying and frustratingly stupid posts, here's a fun one to give you a little break. The signs in their main Factkins. Aries, Dr. Phil. Yeah! Taurus, Dr. Phil's wife. Gemini, Liam Payne. Cancer, Hannah Montana.
He got the river out front. More passion! Outside, whatever you...
Leo, the guy who voiced Mr. Krabs. Virgo, Martha Washington. Libra, the first person to ever step foot on the moon. Joke's on you, the moon landing was fake, okay? Open your third eye, bitch. Scorpio, the first person to ever spot a scorpion. Sagittarius, Billy Ray Cyrus. Capricorn, Andrew Hussey. Aquarius, the guy who started the expand dong meme. Pisces, your fave stock photo kid. Who are you? Tell me in the comments below. I'm Dr. Phil's wife. Shout out to all my Tauruses, by the way, cause it's Taurus season. Tauruses, Taurusi, Taurians, Taurisians. What the fuck is the plural of Taurus? Can somebody please tell me, because I really want to know. Support Factkin. Support Factkin of singers who don't have good singing voices. Support Factkin of writers that don't know how to write. Support Factkin of artists that can't draw. Support Factkin. You may not have the same talents as the people you are kin with, but that does not make your identity any less valid. No. No. No! Don't do this. Don't play into these people's delusions.
Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind?
Are you trying to ruin their lives? Do you really think any good is going to come out of giving these people unrealistic expectations so that they work towards something they'll never achieve because they just don't have the ability to do it, and thus waste their entire lives trying to attain an unattainable dream instead of getting an education, a decent job, and being able to live a good life? How is that going to benefit anyone? Not to mention, the fact that they can't do what their kin is famous for makes them less valid because they were never valid in the first place. They were never never this person to begin with. So the fact that they can't do what their kin is famous for would absolutely make them less valid, since there was never any validity to their claim anyway. Why are we lying to people? Why is it that so many people believe that happy lies are better than the unpleasant truth? The truth is, you need the unpleasant truth. No one wants it, but you need it. That's life. It's only hurting people to lie to them like this and make them believe they can do something they can't. Seriously. Do them a favor and tell them the truth, which is that they're not whoever their kin is, and that they're not capable of doing what their kin does in this situation, so they can actually do something with their life. If you're anti-kin, please delete your blog because it makes me very uncomfortable knowing people don't respect my identity. No, I won't. Believe it or not, people are allowed to have their own opinions, and it doesn't matter whether it makes you uncomfortable or not. I could tell you to delete your blog also because it makes me uncomfortable that you could even sit here and identify as someone completely different from yourself, but you wouldn't like that very much, would you? The fact that fictionkin is accepted within our community but factkin isn't makes me so frustrated. They're basically the same thing. As weird as I think fictionkin can be, they're not practically the same thing. The main difference is the fact that one group is kinning people that don't actually exist and thus will not be affected in any way, shape, or form by people identifying as them, while the other is kinning people that actually exist and will absolutely be affected by this. I mean, imagine being a celebrity and finding out that someone thinks that they're you. I would be scared for my fucking life. Unknown factkin, identifying partially or entirely as an unknown person, someone who you don't know yet. Holy shit. This is a whole new level of crazy. How can you identify as someone who you don't know or who doesn't exist because they haven't been born yet? That doesn't make any sense. I don't even know what to say about this other than just what? To get serious for a second, factkin is dangerous, and most people understand that, but clearly not all. That's why factkin aren't even accepted in the otherkin community, because most people know it's fucked up. You can be a fan of someone, you can be inspired by someone, but you cannot be them just because you want to. I think this is dangerous because this kind of behavior can very well lead to obsession if you don't already consider it obsession. And the truth is, I think this is a part of a much bigger problem, which is the dehumanization of celebrities. Let me explain. A lot of times, we don't really see celebrities as humans. I mean, we know they're human, but do we really? I mean, think about it. If a normal person was followed around by someone with a camera all day, every day, we'd see that as stalking. But for some reason, it's okay when it's paparazzi and they do that to a celebrity. We would usually see it as creepy if people obsessively talked about someone all the time and spent time trying to find private details about them so they can know more about them. But it's normal for celebrities if it's going on in a gossip magazine. I think that a lot of us see celebrities as humans, but as the perfect humans. We see them as the perfect versions of our race and what we should aspire to be. Every so often, I'll catch myself thinking, I wonder what this celebrity is doing right now. Are they watching TV or watching some YouTube videos? Are they doing something that I could be doing right now? And it's almost crazy to think about because it reminds you that they're human. And I mean actually human, not human. That's why when a celebrity fucks up one time, there's immediately a horde of people ready to cancel them. This could very well be because people think that celebrities are supposed to be better than us, so they can't make mistakes. And it's likely that this mentality is subconscious. I don't think that people consciously believe this. I think that because we haven't met them and are not likely to ever meet them, and instead only know who they are behind a screen, that we start to see them as people but not really people. Now, does this apply to everyone? No, of course not. But it applies to a lot of people, including and especially people that are factkin. Why? Because think about it. If they saw them as real people just as real as their family or their friends, or even themselves, would they really be okay with just taking their whole identity? I mean, imagine taking your mom's identity or your sister's identity. That's fucking crazy, right? but apparently taking a celebrity's identity isn't. And since they're okay with taking the identity of a celebrity, what's stopping them from stalking them to find out more information? What's stopping them from finding their address? What's stopping them from looking through their mail? And in the worst case scenario, what's stopping them from killing them because they become so delusional that they start to believe that the celebrity they believe they are is actually an imposter and needs to be taken out? Now, obviously, this is not the level of crazy that these Tumblr girls are at. Hopefully. But it could happen. Celebrities have been injured or even killed before by crazy fans who had delusions about them being destined to be together. If you truly believe that you are someone you're not, wouldn't that be even more of a reason to kill them? This is exactly why so many people find Factkin concerning. This is why so many people get mad at these people for condoning it. Because they could be contributing to someone's delusion and could be pushing this person further and further into their delusion until they ultimately do something crazy. This exact situation hasn't happened yet, but realistically, how unlikely is it? The closest thing that I can think of to that happening is the murder of Dimebag Darrell, the lead guitarist of Pantera. He was shot on stage by a man named Nathan Gale while playing with his new band Damage Plan, because Gale believed that it was Darrell's fault Pantera broke up, and that Darrell had been stealing from him because he claimed he wrote some of Pantera's songs. Just take a second to think about all of this. Think about how many crazy things have happened when people have mental breakdowns, and think about how many of those things were targeted towards celebrities. What about the guy who killed Christina Grimmie? Or the guy who almost killed Bjork by sending a bomb to her and then killed himself? Unfortunately, it's not uncommon for celebrities to be the target of crazy stalkers and fans, and condoning Factkin is likely to only worsen the problem. I mean, Brendan Urie, one of the people these kids kin often, had to move because he was afraid for his safety. Do you really think this is gonna make him feel any safer? The point is that, y'all, it's time to stop. Just be yourself. Maybe you're not perfect. Maybe you're not rich or famous. But so what? You're great just the way you are, and you don't need to be a different person to be good enough. I feel like there are probably people who are Factkin not because they're delusional, but rather because they just have low self-esteem and would rather be their favorite celebrity than themselves. But that's not healthy. I have self-esteem issues, so I know how it feels to wish you were a different person, but in the long run, that won't make you happy. You're better off working towards loving yourself rather than trying to be someone you're not. And who knows? Maybe if you work hard enough, you'll become a celebrity just like the people you kid. But until then, just be yourself. Don't pretend to be someone else, especially not someone who already exists. And if you aren't doing this because you have low self-esteem and you actually think that you are this celebrity, then please, for the love of God, seek mental help because you genuinely need it. Like, I'm not even trying to be insulting. I am saying this for your own safety. Please. Anyway, that's it for today's video. If you liked it, you can leave a like and subscribe and let me know what my next Tumblr Toxicity should be on. You can follow me on my social medias if you'd like to stay updated with my channel, and you can subscribe to my second channel for some extra content. All of those links will be in the description below. I'm the Spookiest Ghost, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.